So today we are going to start with class 6th NCERT chapter 9, which is family and community, and it forms a part of your civics syllabus. And at the start of the chapter we have a very good quote that is given by Thiruvalluvar, and this is: love and dharma are the flower and fruit of family life. This is very interesting. When we generally skip these kind of eminent saying, because we don't consider that they will come in our examination, so we are not required to read it, but it is important. These things are very important for your upliftment, for your knowledge upgradation, right, and for your better understanding of life as a whole. तो इनको स्किप नहीं करना चाहिए. दैट इज़ माई सजेशन, एंड इन माई क्लासेस आई डू नॉट स्किप such interesting quotations, right? So let's understand, let's first upgrade ourselves with some general knowledge. Who was Thiruvalluvar? He was a Tamil poet and philosopher. बेसिकली ही वॉज अ सेंट, एक संत थे ये. आप इंडिया का मैप प्रॉपरली जानते हैं. इफ़ यू डू नॉट नो, इफ़ यू कैन नॉट लोकेट वेयर द तमिलनाडु इज, लेट मी शो यू फर्स्ट. सो दिस इज अ रफ स्केच ऑफ अ ग्रेट इंडिया. So this is a rough sketch, and the southernmost state is Tamil Nadu. Southernmost state is Tamil Nadu. So Thiruvalluvar was from Tamil Nadu, and he was a saint, and he said that love and dharma are the flower and fruit of family life. And let me tell you, in Tamil Nadu there is a celebration known as Thiruvalluvar Day. He is sometimes known as Thiruvalluvar, as you can say TI, it is spelled like TI. It is sometimes you will see that it is spelled like THI, so Thiruvalluvar also, or sometimes simply Valluvar. So Thiruvalluvar, he is known as Thiruvalluvar or simply Valluvar. So Thiruvalluvar Day is celebrated. Thiruvalluvar Day is celebrated every year in Tamil Nadu, and this celebration is part of Pongal celebration, and it falls on the 15th or 16th January, 15th or sometimes 16th January every year. So now what he said, he has given us a great learning that love and dharma are the flower and fruit. Now to simply understand it, just compare love with the flower and dharma with fruit. Flower is symbol of your surrounding, right? Every one of us, हम सभी क्या चाहते हैं कि हमारे आसपास कैसा हो, गार्डन ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट हो, फ्लावर्स हो, या फिर हमको चाहिए कि लाइक अ बिग नाला इज रनिंग आउट ऑफ योर डोर. Obviously you will not enjoy that kind of surrounding, right? So you will enjoy the garden and such kind of, where your mind is find some peace, and where the mind finds some peace, it is easy for you to grow. It is it is interesting to live, it is interesting to add value in your life. So that is what the love in a family can create. Love in a family can create an atmosphere where the members of the family can grow happily, right? And dharma means what? Dharma here does not signify any religion, Islam or Hinduism or Christianity. It is not related to that. Dharma in ancient time was used for duty. हर आदमी, हर इंसान की अपनी एक ड्यूटी होती थी. दैट ड्यूटी वॉज द धर्म ऑफ दैट पर्सन, right? So here the dharma relates to, in the family, the dharma relates to duty or responsibility of every person towards each other. Every member of the family have some responsibility towards each other. like your family, like in your family, your father earns for the family, your mother cooks, or she might be also earning from the family. You as a children, you are giving them happiness by studying, by doing all your work with your diligence. जो भी आप काम कर रहे हैं आप उसमें मन लगा के कर रहे हैं, तो ये आपके पेरेंट्स को खुशी देता है. सो एवरीवन इज डूइंग फॉर ईच अदर, बट जस्ट इमेजिन वेयर इन अ फैमिली देयर इज नो लव. जहां पर प्रेम नहीं है वहां पर ये सब काम एक दूसरे के लिए करेंगे, लेकिन सबको ये बर्डन लगेगा. And with burden, they will do something for each other, but they will not be very happy in doing this. So that is why he said that love and dharma are the flower and fruit of a family life. Fruit. Fruit means what? Whatever you get, whatever you enjoy. You are getting a smartphone, you are getting a tablet for yourself. So that is a kind of what? Fruit, which is coming to you because some person of the family is fulfilling all the responsibility towards you. So love and dharma in a way connects the family members together so that they can grow, the whole family can grow and develop happily. So that's why it is the flower and fruit of the family life. So let's continue. Now, the major questions we are going to deal in this chapter is, why is the family unit important? Right? We are going to learn something. So why we are starting with family, why the family unit is important, we are going to learn that. And then what is the community and what is its role in our life. Right? So we are going to deal with that. Now we are going to see the very important statement at the start of the chapter, that is family. Family is the fundamental and most ancient unit of any society. So let's understand this. First of all, let's understand what is this fundamental unit means. What is this fundamental unit? Fundamental unit, something in biology you will come to know, you learn about life, and when the researchers look at life, they say that cell is the fundamental unit of life. Cell is the fundamental unit of life. Why they say this? Because they say that life is what? Every living person, when they want to see what is life, they see that every living person, either it is animal, either it is human being, or it is a tree also have some life. तो चाहे एक पेड़ हो, चाहे एक जानवर हो, चाहे एक इंसान हो, सभी में लाइफ है. Then the researchers, the scientists say that all of them are made up of something. We as a human being are made up of something. We have hands, we have eyes, we have everything, we have every organ of our body is made up of something which is known as cell. So they say that cell is the fundamental unit of life. They find this cell in tree also, they find cell in animals also other than human being. So they say that cell is the fundamental unit of life, and those things like your pen, any non-living thing, they do not have any cell. So they say that cell is the fundamental unit of life. So what is the fundamental unit? The most basic part of anything. किसी भी चीज का मोस्ट बेसिक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट क्या है? सबसे बेसिक चीज जो उस चीज को उस पूरी होल पार्ट को बना रही है, राइट? आप जैसे बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स वाला गेम कभी खेला होगा आपने, तो एक बड़ी सी जब आप बिल्डिंग बनाते हो उस ब्लॉक्स से, सो वो एवरी ब्लॉक इज व्हाट? द फंडामेंटल यूनिट ऑफ दैट बिल्डिंग. सो नाउ लुक एट द सोसाइटी. सो द मोमेंट आई यूज्ड द टर्म सोसाइटी, सोसाइटी आपके दिमाग में एक पिक्चर आती है सोसाइटी की. जस्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन दैट पिक्चर. that picture is a group of many families or not, right? Every other family, every smaller family is making a part, is just a basic unit of that whole society. So that's why it is, the family is the fundamental unit of society. अगर जिसको नहीं समझ में आया वो इस तरीके से सोचे कि आपने, जैसे ही मैंने सोसाइटी बोला, एक आपके दिमाग में एक आसपास के कुछ एरिया का एक चित्र आया, एक पिक्चर आई। क्या वो पिक्चर रहेगी आपके दिमाग में अगर वहां से मैं अगर सारी फैमिलीज हटा दूं? वो पिक्चर नहीं रहेगी। तो एवरी फैमिली इन दैट रीजन इज मेकिंग अप अ सोसाइटी, राइट? So that is the fundamental unit of society. Now most ancient means what? Most ancient means that family was not, I mean family was always there since the ancient period, when the human being was not even as developed as he is today. जब इतना डेवलपमेंट नहीं था, जब हमारे एंसेस्टर्स जो कि कहे जाते हैं कि बंदर थे, तो आज भी अगर आप देखें तो बंदरों की भी अपनी एक फैमिली होती है। So since then, that's why it is most ancient unit of any society. Now let's see the families around you. Let's talk about the families around you. What kind of families you find in your surrounding? So mostly you will find, especially in city life, in cities, you will find parents and their children, the two parents, that is mother and father and their children, right? So this is one type of family. But when you look at other kind of family, especially that which you find in villages nowadays mostly, so you will see that there are two parents, their children, and their uncle also living in this area. Mean to say, her father's brother plus brother's wife plus their grandparents, so this is what is extended family we know. This is, see, the two parents, mother, father and their children, this is the core family, the main family. And sometimes you will find that their grandparents, brothers wife and other relatives, they also living in the same place, and these brothers wife, grandparents, they are known as extended family, right? So when these extended family and the main family, they all are living at the same place, so they are known as, this kind of family is known as what? Joint family. It is very clear from the word joint. Why joint? Because they are joined together and they are living at the same place, so they are joint family. Then the other type of family which we discussed, what kind of family was this? This kind of family is known as nuclear family. Why nuclear family? Why this word is given to this kind of family? Nuclear family इसलिए बोला जाता है, this is derived from a Latin term जो कि होता है न्यूक्लियस। लैटिन टर्म है न्यूक्लियस। आपने पढ़ा भी होगा, एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर में सेंट्रल पार्ट होता है, ठीक है, सेंट्रल पार्ट होता है किसी भी एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर का। एंड न्यूक्लियस का मतलब ही होता है द the core of anything, the main part, the center part of anything. So if you look at the joint family, you can see that there would be many nuclear families who are living together, and they would have been formed, the extended family, brothers, wife and their children. Who all are they are separately nuclear family. So these are the cores which are joined together, they form a joint family. I think it's clear that there is no need to go very deep into this. You can just simply remember that mother, father and their children together, they are known as, this kind of family is known as nuclear family. And where the extended family where the extended families are living together at the same place, they are known as joint family. So now let's read a little bit. A very important thing is there for a joint family, that has several generations living together. Now several generations living together, several generations, grandparents, right, uncles, aunts, they all are living together. So that is what, brothers, sisters, cousins, they are living together. That is what they constitute a joint family. Now let me give you a very clear idea of this, where it is written that several generations are living together. What does it mean, several generations? So there was two brothers, B1 and B2, they are living together, but they are not real brothers. They are not real brothers. Now his father F1, his father F2, they were also living together, and they were also not real brothers. Now F1's father F1 and F2's father F2, they were also living together, and they were real brothers. They were real brothers. So they were real brothers means they have a common father, that is triple F1, F1. He was the father of FF1 and FF2. And then you see that generation by generation, they are living together. So B1 and B2 have a common ancestor very back, 3 generations back. Right. So several generations are living together means, okay, grandparents, their grandchildren and their children, they are all living together. That is also several generations living together. But this is another way of looking at this meaning, at the meaning of this phrase, that several generations are living together. Right? I think it's clear. Now let's move on. You have something to discuss with your classmates, right? These are the exercise you should do. What type of families do you see in your neighborhoods? So you ask each other, and you will get to know about the kind of society. You will get to know more about the society, what all types of societies are there. So this exercise you should do on your own, right? It's interesting one. You can list the type of with the number of households for each type, right? Now the second one is very interesting. What types of families are more frequent? So obviously, if you are living in the city, you will find nuclear families more frequently. In cities, you will find nuclear families, right? And if you are living in villages, अगर आप गांव में रहते हैं, आप कंट्री साइड रहते हैं, you will find mostly joint families. You may find joint families are more frequent. Now the next question is very important. Why do you think so? So let's discuss about this. nuclear families. So obviously I'm assuming that you are in a city, so you will find nuclear family. So we will discuss why do you find why have you find nuclear families more frequently in a city life. I am giving you just hint today. If you want to know about this in detail, क्यों न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज आजकल सिटी लाइफ में ज़्यादा देखने को मिल रही हैं, न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज के एमरजेंस के रीज़न क्या हैं, सो आई कैन डिस्कस इट सेपरेटली विद इन एनी अदर वीडियो. You can mention it whether you want such a discussion or not in the comment section. Certainly I'll make another video separately to discuss this. So for hint you can just think about in the economical prospect, from the economy point of view, economics point of view. Like earlier, agriculture was the main source of livelihood. Agriculture was the main source of livelihood. So agriculture was performed in the village area, right, on the big land, right. Then there was emergence of industry. There was industrialization. There happened industrialization. आप इस तरीके से सोचिए कि पहले खेती की जाती थी गाँव में, एग्रीकल्चर वॉज द मेन सोर्स ऑफ लाइवलीहुड. फिर धीरे धीरे क्या हुआ, फैमिलीज बढ़ी, ब्रदर्स कई ब्रदर्स हुए, मैनी ब्रदर्स. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, वन लैंड वॉज इन द ओनरशिप ऑफ वन पर्सन. One person के many sons were there. So these sons have partitioned the land, divided land among themselves. पहले एक बड़ा लैंड था, अब उसके कई टुकड़े हो गए, तो छोटे टुकड़े पे इतना ज़्यादा इकोनॉमिकल नहीं रहा, प्रोडक्शन भी कम हो गया, इकोनॉमिकल प्रोडक्शन नहीं रहा. ठीक है, ऑब्वियसली एवरी पर्सन वॉज फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट टू सस्टेन इन लाइफ, So he started exploring more ways of earning. So he went to city. And he found industries there. He started working in industries as a labor. This is just one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, the growing social changes. So I can discuss in detail once you need it, once you find it interesting. You can comment in the comment section, and I'll certainly upload the one. So let's move further. In English, there are not many terms to describe family relationships. Yeah, now see, we are going to see what the importance of language in giving a picture of society. What kind of society is in any area or in any country you can find can be reflected by the languages used by the people there. So that is what we are going to see here. So in English, it is saying that there are not many terms to describe family relationships. Like you might have seen that in India you will see these kind of word in Hindi. In Hindi you will see that there is bua, tau, tai. For every kind of relation there is some separate term. Nana, nani, dada, dadi, right? And in English you will find that nana, nani, dada, dadi, all of them are known as by the same word, that is grandparents. grandfather, grandmother, that's it, not nana nani or dada dadi. Similarly, you will see that chacha and tau both are known as uncle, chachi and tai both are known as auntie, bua is also known as auntie, right? So there is no, maybe you can find the terms like paternal auntie, maternal auntie. Maternal auntie is mausi, paternal auntie is bua, right? Like that. So there is no separate word. So that reflects what? In English you will find these kind of words. Why? Because in their culture the extended relationship is not so much important as important you find it in the Indian culture. So that is what is reflected by the language. And in Tamil it is much more important than, I mean, in Tamil you will find a separate word even for elder brother or sister and younger brother and sister. So this is how the words, the terms used in a language reflects the type of society you will find in a country, in a region, in a culture, better say. Right. Now see, now we are going to see the roles and responsibilities of whom? Of family members. Now by the time we have understood that family is what? Family is the fundamental unit of society. So obviously if the family members have their responsibility towards each other, then they also have some responsibility towards society also. Like parents are responsible for raising their children to become happy individual. Obviously every parent wants their children to be happy for always, but they can remain happy only if they have a responsible character in themselves inculcated by their parents towards the society. How? Suppose if someone is not brought up in a way to be known of his responsibility or her responsibility towards society, then obviously in future he would be doing something unknowingly which is harming the society, which is harmful for the society. And then to curb such tendencies, to stop him from doing so, there is law, and by law he will be punished. So obviously he will not remain happy until and unless he will not be given some kind of sense of having responsibility towards the society, right? So this is also very important. Now as children grow up, they take on more responsibilities in the home to help other family members, whether parents or a sister or a brother. As you will grow, obviously you will have more responsibility towards your parents, towards your siblings, right? You will start earning, you will have maybe some of you will have your younger sisters, your younger brothers, and you will help them financially in their growth or in their studies. So through daily practice, children learn to participate in the life of the household. You learn how to take your own food, not cook at least, then how you can take your own food. You need not your mom always to give you your food, garnishing your dishes. Even some children do wash their dishes by their own, right? So these all things you learn by the daily practice in the life of household. In many homes, children also learn some of the traditions and practices their family has been following for generation. For example, recently we had a Holi festival, and suppose there is a society where many families are there, and this family, there is a family, suppose A. This family had a tradition to organize the food on Holi. So suppose Chintu was very young when he saw his father doing all this work for whole society. Now as Chintu grown up, this tendency of his father was gained by Chintu on its own. So obviously this is not a kind of burden on you, this is not a kind of any legal responsibility on you which is given you by law, but this is what a kind of tradition, a kind of practices that were being followed by your family. Now you on your own wish wants to follow it, and if you will not follow it, that is not going to do any harm to any other person. Obviously it's not punishable, but this is the other kind of structure you should consider while looking at the roles and responsibility of every person towards the family member and to the society. So that is what the tradition and practices has importance in it, right? Now to enhance your analytical power of understanding the society, you should डू सच एक्सरसाइजेस. इससे आपकी जो सोसाइटी को ऑब्जर्व करने की जो एनालिटिकल पावर है वो बढ़ेगी. सो यू कैन आस्क योर सेल्फ हु इन योर फैमिली डिसाइड्स व्हाट इज टू बी बॉट फ्रॉम द मार्केट. मार्केट से क्या लाना है ये कौन डिसाइड करता है आपके यहाँ? योर फादर और योर मदर. हो सकता है कुछ चीज़ों में फादर डिसाइड करते हो, कुछ चीज़ों में मदर डिसाइड करती हो. सो यू कैन जस्ट लिस्ट आउट दोज थिंग्स एंड देन यू कैन मेक एन आइडिया व्हाट ऑल काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. सपोज द किचन यूटेंसिल्स, राइट, और मे बी what kind of vegetables are to be brought, what kind of fruits are to be bought from the market, and father may be deciding what kind of gadgets are to be bought in the coming festivals or something like that, right? Or maybe there is, you may find this is no, you may find that mother is deciding what kind of gadgets are to be bought and father is deciding what kind of kitchen utensils are to be bought. That is also normal, right? So you can just list it out and then you can just make an idea why is it so, how it is so, right? So this will make the things interesting. Your learning of the social science will become interesting, not a burden on you, right? You will start loving the social science, right? And once you will start loving the social science, you will start fulfilling all the responsibilities towards the social science with love, because you know that love and duty are the fruits and flower of flower and fruits of family life. But I am now making it fruits of social science for you. Just इसको एक मजाक की तरह लीजिए, लेकिन समझने की भी कोशिश करिए. जहाँ पर आप सोशल साइंस से डरते हैं, जहाँ आप उसको रटते हैं, you go for rote learning, that's why it becomes burden on you. Just change it, change the way of learning the social science. Start exploring it, start understanding it, analyzing it. You will start loving it, and then with love, that something which, with love, if you have to perform some duty, it does not become burden on you, right? So that's why I just make it in a light sense, social science instead of family. Okay, so who cooks food, then who is the oldest person in your family, right? Then the what is the what is the status of the oldest person. You may seek that is there something which is denied by the oldest person in the family is in no way be carried out from any other member of the family. अगर ओल्डेस्ट पर्सन इन द फैमिली मेंबर ने किसी चीज़ के लिए मना कर दिया है तो वो काम नहीं हो सकता, नहीं किया जा सकता किसी भी फैमिली मेंबर से. क्या ऐसा है या फिर कुछ ऐसा है कि जो ओल्डेस्ट पर्सन ऑलवेज डिस्कस बिफोर गिविंग एनी कमांड, राइट? सो देयर इज अ काइंड ऑफ अभी हम लोग धीरे से आगे पढ़ेंगे डेमोक्रेसी एंड ऑल. सो इन understanding those things, those terms, democracy क्या है, these kind of things will help you in understanding the society. Once you will start analyzing your family, the values in your family, once you will start analyzing the values in your family, you will start understanding the bigger concepts very easily. For an example, आपके घर में जैसे आपने ये क्वेश्चन सीख किया, who is the oldest member in your family, then I'll say कि just find it out whether he gives a command, whether he is more interested in giving command to the people, order to the people of the family, order to the members of the family, right? Suppose the oldest person in your family is in the nature of giving command and order to your family, right? And all other members are instructed not to go against his order in any way, and all other members are not. This is a kind of tradition, a structure in your family, that all other members are not even allowed to discuss anything contrary to this order. So this is a kind of a kind of undemocratic structure, undemocratic family structure. Because what is democracy? Democracy, you must have learned that where all the people actually discuss, all the people have equal rights, obviously. So these kind of things you will get to know, these kind of things you will get to understand very easily once you will start analyzing. Because everything I'll make you learn, I'll try to, as far as possible, I'll try to connect with your family structure, and then will make you learn very easily. So that's why you should go and see who cleans the floor of your home, your house, right? Who cleans the floor of your home? Maybe you will find some maid. Then whether she or he is paid or not, obviously I know that you will say he is paid or she is paid, but maybe the possibility that someone is not being paid, then what kind of employment is this? So these things we will connect in this manner, and then we will learn, and this will be very interesting for us, right? So that's why you should not skip these kind of exercises. You should, it should be your responsibility to do this, right?